News in full. Minister of Transportation, Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi, has lauded Governor Abeokuta's pilot scheme of Wi-Fi-enabled buses and the launch of the state's strategic master plan to improve the state's transportation system, saying the initiative will equally complement the federal government's transportation programs. Amechi stated this during the flag-off of the buses held at the arcade ground, Okimoson, Abeokuta. Former President, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, and a former governor of the state, Chief Olusegun Oshoba, were among dignitaries at the occasion. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganio reports.
Transportation remains a very important sector to Ogun State as the nation's industrial destination of choice. This is why the flag-off of the pilot scheme of the Wi-Fi-enabled buses and the launch of the state's strategic transport master plan by the Ogun State government under the leadership of Governor Abeokuta is expected to usher in an economic revolution that will in turn positively affect the economy of Nigeria. Minister of Transportation, Right Honorable Rotimi Amechi, lauded Governor Abeokuta for operating a purposeful government, saying all the legacy projects carried out by the governor would continue to speak for him after his tenure in office.
Your Excellency, you've done well. One thing about transportation, Your Excellency the Governor, is the intermodality of transportation. No matter what you do about railway, it must end at a terminal. When you come down from that terminal, you must move either by leg, or by bicycle, or by road to where you're going to. It is the responsibility of government to provide another means of transport that takes you away from the railway to where you're going to. It is worse if that what you're conveying is cargo. Yes, we are going to provide a freight yard, but we think that the state governments, and I will come to that, should provide other means of transportation to other parts of the states. I thank you for doing that. That's one of the reasons why I'm here.
The minister, who reiterated the commitment of the federal government to the improvement of the transportation system of the country, disclosed that the construction of the Lagos-Calabar rail line, which would pass through Lekki Deep Sea Port down to Ekpe, will soon commence, stressing that government has continued to implement the rail line master plan project initiated by the President Olusegun Obasanjo regime. Governor Abeokuta equally said the bus pilot scheme would commence from Abeokuta to Marina in Lagos and later extended to other parts of the state. He said it is important to put in place logistics for efficient and effective transportation system as a key component for economic development of the state, for ease of doing business, and for more investors to create more employment opportunities.
We are launching this mass transit bus system. We are launching it. The pilot phase will start right here in Abeokuta and will expand to other cities in Ogun State. We also are developing the BRT lane. Because of our cooperation and our understanding with Lagos State, under our Lagos Ogun Joint Development Cooperation, which focuses on areas of security, transportation, and water supply, physical planning, amongst other things. Our buses will be able to leave Abeokuta, stop over in Kara or Baga, and go all the way to Marina, just like RPSC said. You'll be able to go from Abeokuta or Ifo and go all the way into Lagos, and vice versa. I believe that whilst at this, the buses are air-conditioned, they are Wi-Fi enabled, it would further ease, our ranking on the Doing Business Index.
Governor Abeokuta said the multimodal transportation system as a catalyst to any nation's economic development informed his government's plan to sign a memorandum of understanding with a private company to revitalize the Olukola seaport in order to ease movement of goods, adding that government is planning to extend the Red Line rail service of Lagos State to some parts of the state by using the new Nigerian Railway Corporation standard gauge rail line for commuter service. A former governor of the state, Chief Olusegun Oshoba, accompanied by former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, expressed their happiness at the initiative.
There was gateway transportation in Ogun State in my time. We were even operating up to Ilorin. Thank you, Mr. Governor, for giving back in my lifetime gateway.
A test run of how the buses will move was later conducted round Okimoson in Abeokuta. Yusuf Ganiyu, OGTV News.
Meanwhile, the newly launched Ogun State Multi-Modern Transport Plan is set to boost the industrial drive of the current administration by opening the state up for more investments, as well as consolidate its position as the most industrialized in Nigeria. To this end, stakeholders in the transportation business and road users have commended the initiative, saying Ogun State has never had it so good. Bumi Adegun was at the launch. It completes the report.
The Transportation Development Plan is multifaceted, from construction of new roads and rehabilitation of the existing ones to ongoing construction of an agro-cargo airport, construction of waterways, and construction of railways, a revolution that would engender unparalleled development.
Previously, we've had bus mass transit that were not effective. Now there is this proper planning, strategists and the professionals that know how.
A particular box like this, at least the capacity will be more than 50, 60. It has reduced the numbers of cars to be at the same time on the road, and it has reduced the amount hours delay on the road. You understand?
This is just a pilot scheme. This is going through how the Ogun State, communities, so that they can also feel the impact.
The convergence at the arcade ground at Okemoso Abeokuta is to launch the pilot scheme of the bus mass transit, of which bus stop sheds and ticket stations have long been put in place around major parts of Abeokuta.
And the upgrading of the hitherto Bureau of Transportation to a full-fledged Ministry of Transportation in the year 2020, and the launch of this Strategic Transport Master Plan and the pilot bus mass transit scheme are practical representations of the continued and successful implementation of the Building Our Future agenda in our dear state.
It's the beginning of the wisdom. Very much. The government started well, and I believe it's going to end well.
It's a multimodal mode of transportation, and that is exactly what we need in this country, not in Ogun State alone.
We appreciate the government for doing that for us. We are part and parcel of this scheme.
What we are doing today is a recognition of that, what we transform, what we take this state to the next level.
After breakfast in the morning in Ake, I would trek 2 miles to school. And by the time I arrived in school, I was hungry again because there was no safe and affordable transportation system in Abeokuta, in Ogun State at that time. I congratulate all of us that this thing is happening in our own very presence.
So what were the key outcomes of our transport policy? We strongly advised for the development of an integrated transport master plan. That has been done. We advised for the establishment of the Ministry of Transportation. That has been done. We advised for the development of an urban mass transit system. That, as you can see, is being launched today.
The event will go down in the annals of Ogun State history as one which is set to find a lasting solution to the transportation situation in Ogun State. The fleet of buses, 57-seater each, has internet facility, convenient seat, and air are few of what people will enjoy in these new buses. Now that the buses have been launched, it is intended at addressing the road transportation, while the agro-cargo airport, which is nearing completion, will address air transportation. Water transportation and the rail lines are also in the pipeline as embedded in the master plan. Bumi Adegun, OGTV News.
Away from that now, the Ogun State Council of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, Ogusima, has lauded the Ogun State government for its various economic transformation programs, which have boosted the state's internally generated revenue, IGR, and engendered confidence in its public-private partnership efforts. The first Deputy President of Ogusima, Engineer, gave the commendation in Abeokuta during a meeting with the State Commissioner for Finance and Chief Economic Advisor to the Governor, Mr. Dapo Ukubadijo. Akingbade specifically commended the government for adopting digital options for its financial transactions describing the initiative as a measure for removing administrative bottlenecks and reducing revenue leakages. Presenting an award of excellence and decorating the commissioner as an honorary member of the association, its president, Alhaji Wasiu Olaleye, said the gesture was in recognition of his contributions to the development of Ogusima and the state at large, adding that its members had enjoyed unprecedented support from the government. Responding, Okubadejo, who restated the commitment of government to the development of MSMEs, described it as a building block for the overall economic development of the state.
Any administration has to be very creative in proactively encouraging investors into the state, knowing fully well that government cannot do it alone. It has to be a joint effort between the government and the private sector. Our job is not to run any business. We're not interested to run any business, and we don't want to take that huge responsibility of running business or businesses. It is the job of the private sector to run businesses, and it is our job to provide an enabling environment for you to thrive, for you to succeed, because your success is our success.
Highlighted the passage of the Public-Private Partnership Law and creation of the PPP Office, Ogun State Investment Promotion and Facilitation of Agency Ogun Invest, and ongoing construction of the Ogun Agro-Cargo Airport, among others, as some of the government's economic development strategies to further create an enabling environment for businesses to thrive and improve the state's internally generated revenue. The Augusta government has said banks and other financial institutions are critical stakeholders in achieving its 2022 revenue targets. The State Commissioner for Finance and Chief Economic Advisor to the Governor, Mr. Dapo Okubadejo, stated this at a meeting with divisional heads and operations managers of banks and other financial institutions in Abeokuta. He said it was imperative for them to key into the various innovative ideas and financial management reforms of the state government aimed at broadening the revenue base and ease of doing business. He noted that adoption of digital transformation initiatives such as full implementation of the Treasury Management System, digital payment system, billing and payment management system, as well as creation of the Ogun State Land Administration and Revenue Management System, OLAMS, among others, had helped in blocking leakages and increased its internally generated revenue. Mr. Okubadejo enthused that with the buy-in of the innovations, the state would not only meet but surpass its current revenue targets.
Our competitive and comparative advantage is first off our close proximity to the biggest economy in Nigeria and also the fifth largest in Africa. And for us to take advantage of that, we need to organize ourselves very properly such that all of these competitive and comparative advantages will accrue to us seamlessly.
The Commissioner said the IGR has a direct bearing on mode of payment from taxpayers. The government, in its efforts, is creating an enabling environment for business to enable taxpayers pay their taxes. Responding on behalf of the bankers, Mr. Adeniran Oladele of First Bank commended the government for the various reforms and promised to collaborate with the state to achieve its. Still in the news, NIMSI alerts of 15,000 enrollment centers across the country. More news and reports after the break. Don't go away.
The Nigerian Internet Registration Association, NIRA, has nominated Ogun State Television, OGTV, in the Best Electronic Media Websites TV category for the 2022.ng award. We implore our teaming viewers and the general public to vote for Ogun State Television by logging on to NIRA website on nira.org.ng/NG Awards 2022/voting. Enter your email address, then scroll to Best Electronic Media Website Television and click on Ogun State TV to cast your vote. Awards voting portal closes at midnight Sunday 10th.
Some social media platforms that bandits have taken over Ogereremo forest in the state. The video claimed to have been recorded by drones and which is 2 minutes 50 seconds showed some men cooking on a fire in a bush. But in a statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Ogun State Governor, Kunle Shomori, described the video as fake and not recorded in any forest in the state. Shomori said the video was nothing but another ploy by enemies of progress to create a wrong impression that the state is unsafe. A fact check on the said video, according to the statement, was that of the General Service Unit GSU drone, which captured armed cattle rustlers hiding in thickets with stolen livestock. Kenya, East Africa. Shomori added that the bandits who were seen making breakfast tried to shoot down the drone when they noticed it was recording them. He, however, wondered how some persons who stock in trade is spreading fake news and raised false alarm, imploring the people to see the video as another feeble attempt to smear the good records of Governor Abiodun-led administration. Shomori noted that Ogun, under the leadership of Governor Dapo Abiodun, has not only been adjudged as the safest state to live in, but most serene to conduct businesses without fear. The governor's CPS further said Abiodun-led administration has also investors to the state via infrastructure, security, and business-friendly policies, which, according to him, has made Ogun highest in the country in terms of foreign direct investment. Shomori added that to ensure that Ogun remains safest to live, work, and play, the governor, on assumption of office, quickly reinvigorated the State Security Trust Fund by making it private sector driven. He stated further that apart from purchasing patrol vehicles fitted with communication gadgets for security agencies, the governor relaunched OP Mensa to enhance the security architecture of the state, while calling on the residents of the state to disregard the video and its content, which he said is a fabricated lie and deliberate attempt to discredit the good work of Governor Abiodun, assured that the incumbent administration will continue to ensure security of lives and property of the people. He submitted that though the video is false, security operatives will be immediately deployed to the location mentioned to prove to the residents that the video is nothing but hoax. Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has reassured of his commitment to stopping importation of adulterated Adire fabrics into the country with the intervention of the National Assembly and Nigeria Customs Service. Prince Abiodun gave this assurance during the launch of Adire Week held at the June 12 Cultural Center, Kuto, Abeokuta. Adebola Oshomoji reports that the governor commended the Ajoshi Foundation of his wife, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, for the initiative, adding that Adire business is one of the surest ways of creating wealth, especially by small and medium-scale enterprises. A report.
To promote indigenous fabrics as national dress code that would equally showcase Nigeria's iconic cultural heritage, Governor Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun initiated Adire Week, holding at the June 12 Cultural Center, Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. According to her, the initiative was born out of passion to support women's economic empowerment for promotion of financial inclusion for women in Adire trading.
We are connecting directly with our women to the wider markets. Your presence today will open new doors of opportunity for Adire creators. It also gives access to high-value markets with opportunities to seal long-term deals as suppliers of Adire. Adire Market Week helps to strengthen the link between different actors in the textile value chain. We are also rolling out economic empowerment initiatives to support our women with financial literacy, cash grants. Over the next 1 year, at least 100 to 500 women-owned Adire businesses will benefit from direct cash grants given by Ajoshe Foundation.
While commending her initiative, Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun submitted that Adire is a generational business which must be preserved as part of the state's heritage.
On the issue of the copycats, which is of course of concern to us, the copycats and the fake production, I will not be particular about the nationalities. But what I would say is that we are deeply committed to working with the National Assembly and the Nigerian Customs to stop this steal.
Wife of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Alhaja Salamotu Gbajabiamila, led wives of some states' governors in delivering goodwill messages.
I take this opportunity to particularly appreciate the drive and dedication of the First Lady of Ogun State in coordinating this brilliant initiative. I wish us all a great day.
We are so super excited to come here to rejoice with you with the Ajoshe Foundation and the people of Ogun State. Congratulations, you have a rare gem among you, and she's ready to promote and empower women here, even encouraging the bank to support women to get their loans.
Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun thereafter led dignitaries at the event to the exhibition center. Adebola Oshomuji, OGTV News.
From Abuja, President Muhammadu Buhari has submitted to the House of Representatives the revised fiscal framework for consideration to enable the amendment of the 2022 Appropriation Act. In the communication read by the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, the federal government seeks adjustment to some of the parameters in the budget. The projected oil price benchmark contained in the request has been increased by $11 per barrel from $62 to $73 per barrel. The volume of the projected daily oil production output has been reduced to 1.6 million barrels per day as against the early projected volume of 1.83 million barrels. All the adjustments include an additional provision of 182.45 billion naira to cater for the needs of the Nigerian police. There is also an increase of 3.5 trillion naira on estimated provisions for subsidy, taking the figures up from 442 billion to 4 trillion naira. The President explained that these adjustments to the 2022 Appropriation Act became necessary due to new developments in the global and domestic economy, such as spikes in the price of crude oil, agro by the Russia-Ukraine war.
To 7.35 trillion, representing 3.99% of GDP. The increase will be financed by new domestic market.
Amendment to the 2022 Appropriation Act being held in Abuja. Ogun State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology has directed all public and private primary and secondary schools, as well as government science and technical colleges, to proceed on the 2021-2022 academic session second term holiday from Monday 11th to Friday 22nd April 2022. According to a statement by the Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, schools are expected to resume for third term academic activities on Monday, 25th April 2022. Parents and guardians should ensure that the wards are properly monitored during the holiday, the statement added. The Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC, has said about 50% of schools in Nigeria lack basic furniture. Executive Secretary of the Commission, Amid Boboyi, who said this in Abuja, regretted that basic education pupils sit on the floor to take lessons. According to him, emerging constraints in basic education delivery in the country might necessitate an increase in the consolidated revenue funds from the current 2% to 4%. He buttressed his position for an increase in funding to the security challenges bedeviling the country, insisting that the rising students' population also poses the urgent need for teaching facilities. Boboyi said this at a one-day civil society organization CSO legislative roundtable meeting where some national and state houses of assembly members were present. He argued that while the children of rich, who are merely 20% of the population, can afford to garner resources for private schools, the less privileged, constituting 80%, are stuck with the public institutions. The UBEC boss equally tasked relevant civil society organizations, the media, and other critical stakeholders not to shy away from rendering assistance to the government in bridging observed gaps in learning and teaching processes, especially at the basic school level. Also speaking, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Basic Education, represented by Senator Frank Ibiziem, decried the failure of state's universal basic education to sustain some UBEC-initiated projects, such as the building of classrooms and libraries earlier introduced by the Commission in all constituencies in the country. Cultural heritage should be embedded in children as future leaders for the sustainability of morals and virtues in society. This was a call by the proprietress of Lawson Group of Schools, Iyalode Alaba Lawson, during the school's annual Cultural Day, organized to integrate culture into education by the Citadel of Learning. Margaret Okunlola has the details.
To acquaint the younger generation with various cultural heritage in the country, Nigeria, to avoid cultural extinction, Lawson Group of Schools organized its annual Cultural Day to the delight of its pupils, students, and their parents. While declaring the occasion open, the Iyalode of Yoruba land, who doubles as the proprietress of Lawson Group of Schools, Iyalode Alaba Lawson, encouraged the integration of culture into education for the production of a total child.
We need to teach our children the cultural value and the traditional value of our each ethnics that will make us to unify Nigeria as a whole.
Various cultural display and presentations from different tribes added color to the event. Parents could not hide their excitement as they lauded the initiative.
The significance of today's activities is for every one of us to know our origin.
It exposes them to their culture and makes them to know more about other cultures and tradition.
If we can help to inculcate good values in our children, good cultures, good tradition,
our children will be able to see that we have diversity of cultures.
Pupils were not left out as they shared in the glamour of the moment.
I learned that we should not be afraid to show people our culture, and we should be proud of our culture.
Some things that I learned today and saw were the Hausas, the dresses of the Igbos, and the performances, and the different food.
There were exhibition of cultural dishes by parents and cultural artistry works by the Margaret Okunlola, OGTV News.
Identity Management Commission has said it has over 15,000 National Identification Number NIN enrollment centers in the country. NIMC disclosed this following the federal government's all the telecommunication companies to restrict unlinked subscriber identity model card SIMs from making calls. Unlinked lines are SIM cards not yet linked with NIN, and about 119 million lines run the risk of being deactivated. Available statistics from the Nigerian Communication Commission, NCC, in February showed that there are over 300 million connected GSM mobile lines in the country, of which over 190 were active. Meanwhile, of the 197.7 million active subscribers, 78 million had so far been linked. A simple mathematics will show that about 119 million subscribers are yet to link. A body known as Deaf Women Association of Nigeria has commended the government of Ogun State for improving the lives of its members and appealed for more attention. According to the chairperson of the body, Mrs. Ayobami Egujobi, the era of predominant illiterate deaf population was over, stressing the need to take the association to the next level. International Women's Day of the Deaf Women Association of Nigeria, Ogun State Chapter, Break the Bias, was the theme of this year's celebration. Tiwalade Fayeson reports.
In democracy, every voice must be heard. All around the world, the month of March is the month that the world has set aside to reflect on the achievements of women in history and to celebrate their accomplishment. International Women's Day presents an opportunity to celebrate the political, social, economic, and cultural achievement for women and girls around the world. To this end, the Deaf Women Association of Nigeria, Ogun State Chapter, held the first-of-a-kind celebration in the city of Abeokuta amidst fanfare. Mrs. Ayobami Egunjobi, Chairperson, Deaf Women Association of Nigeria, Ogun State Chapter, spoke about the successes recorded so far since the inception of the association in Ogun State.
Is the unity in gathering together awareness of the deaf women and girls. Today's program was so surprising to see many deaf, unexpected.
Deaconess Adedoyin Beyoku Alashe, founder of the Association of Nigeria, explained on the success of the program and then appealed to the government for more support.
I feel happy. In the past, deaf are the one thing, just to use them for fun. Are changing, and I pray with the change. We are not where we should be. I believe in some years more, deaf will be.
Mrs. Oluyemisi Oladejo, keynote speaker, elaborated on the theme for this year's celebration, Breaking the Bias. She members of the association for the initiative.
Breaking the bias itself, that starts with you, the one craving the breaking of the bias. So as women, we shouldn't wait for the time the society will begin to treat us right. You should start by prioritizing yourself. So as a be on the list.
Yes. Other highlights of the event were fashion parade by the association, cut cake amongst others. Tiwalade Fayeson, OGTV News.
Yayi has declared for the Ogun West Senatorial seat as he has transferred his permanent voter in Ogun State. The senator made this known at the convergence which rounded off the local government tour of the movement ground in Adigun, who covered the event, reports that the convergence also declared support for Governor Dapo Abiodun's second term in office.
Yayi, as a representative of West of Gia. Empire Ground in Ilaru. From all other four, they converged to make express the re-election of Governor Dapo Abiodun and Senator Olamilekan Adeoloya in the 2023 general election.
Voting in the past, but this time around, 2023 election, Ogun West wants to use his vote to the maximum advantage of Ogun West. They determined to bring Yayi Land to his hometown, to his constituency, to contest the post of senator. He has been doing well. Let him what he's doing in Lagos for our people.
He's the only person around here that to take us to that height anticipated for over 46 years now.
We want the governor that we want Yayi also here as the Senate and have fully representatives.
He has what it takes to represent. We've been seeing his representation before now. He is not new in politics. He is our son in Ogun West.
Before his declaration, Senator Adeola thanked Governor Dapo Abiodun across the state.
Gbogbo Ogun West senatorial district àti parapọ̀ àti panupọ̀ sójú kan wípé gómìnà wa Prince Adédàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún Olúwaṣeun wọ́n á lọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí.
Senator Adeola, with an evidence of his transferred permanent voter card to Ilaro in Ogun State, said he's ready to lead Ogun Mr. Land.
My ward now is Ilaro Ward 1, polling unit 009. That is where my polling unit is. That in the past, Ogun West, since the coming on board, Ogun West have since been brought back into the midst. So there is no longer as Ogun West is concerned in the area of governance and area in other areas. So I'm coming into Ogun West to contribute my own quota towards the development of the senatorial district.
The Empire Ground Ilaro Convergence is the last for the Ogun West local government tour of the West to West movement. Bumi Adigun.
Similarly, with the political process towards 2023 general elections gathering momentum, PAB has declared his intention to run for the House of Representatives. He will be vying for the Imekowa from Yewa North Federal Engineer Kuye attention to a crowd of supporters of All Progressives Congress APC words in the two under the constituency. Community Primary School in Imashai, Matthew Shomi.
Of the people members in the two local government areas, Imekowa Federal Constituency, declaration of Engineer Temitope Kuyebi for House of Carnival-like amidst cultural dances, various groups. The people assured him of their full support and readiness to work for him to realize his. Addressing the crowd, Engineer Kuye of a long journey of the people and the federal constituency, which he is ready to offer.
Look, I'm from, but a lot of things are lacking behind. Who can synchronize with the sitting governor and also at the federal level to bring the dividend of democracy right there. And looking at my past, I believe I am
admonished the people to go back to the grassroots to start the campaign from there, adding that he will be counting on their support and commitment ahead.
When we made a call for this gathering, we were looking at maybe 1,000. I tell you, we are over 4,500 of interest, and I believe by the grace of God I'm able to secure the ticket. It's going to be total winning for the party by the grace.
The party in the constituency also pleaded with them to take ownership of the campaign and all members of the party.
And he also loved the people in return. He's always a cheerful person. He has all it takes. We are together with. He's a man to the people with our money.
They expressed confidence in the ability of Engineer Kuyebi to give the constituency the Matthew show me.
With Simiat Abaro, don't go away.
You're welcome to the business segment of the news. President Muhammadu Buhari has formally received the report on review of revenue allocation formula for the country from the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. The report recommends a reduction of 3% from the current federal, as well as the 3.07%, 4% for state and local government. The president said, as an advocate for grassroots development, ensuring that all are treated fairly, adjusting the resources. Last reviewed 27 years ago, the proposed revenue allocation formula has leading for distributive justice, equity and fairness in the 1999 Constitution as amended. The principle took into cognizance the indivisibility of the country, public opinion and weighty constitutions, the 3 tiers of government.
It is with high that after the application of the above analysis and consideration, the following new vertical revenue allocation formula emerged, and federal government 17%, 29.79%, local government 21.04%, special fund, ecology 1%, 0.5%, 1.3%, federal capital territory total 100%.
The submission of this report today, Mr. President, aligns vow to ensure that basic strengthen for equitable and just allocation of resources to all tiers of government for sustainable development.
President Muhammadu Buhari applauded for their diligence in ensuring that the report was all-inclusive. The Competition and Consumer Protection Commission says it has raided shipping companies over high shipping. Executive Vice Chairman of the Commission, Babatunde Iruke, this in Lagos, also announced that the agency had begun investigations into shipping companies' cost of moving product into Nigeria. He decried outrageous rates charged by shipping companies operating in the country. Activities have resulted in astronomical cost of market. The Commission's boss urged responsible and responsible care services. The Nigeria Customs Service has said that there are no plans for duty reduction on imports. There are speculations that the service has received the tariff on used vehicles from 35 to 20%. According to the news, the duty rate on Common External Tariff Trade Portal under is code 8703. However, clearing agents have insisted that official statement announcing the reduction in duty. And that's the end of Business News tonight. Many thanks for watching for the segment.